Recording in progress.
Okay. Screen recording. So we announced the funding for the Prairie Innovation Center here. The province is going to match that private sector commitment with $60 million towards the construction, and then a loan for $60 million. We hope the federal government will be able to join us in this important investment to build up the ag sector and build up our country. So happy to take any questions that folks have.
Do you want to take the first one?
Sure.
Yeah.
Why is this something you're doing?
This is an amazing project to create a bigger workforce for our ag industry. The ag industry is a backbone of our economy here in Manitoba, so we got to make the investments. Everybody's looking to respond to the tariff threat and all of the risk that's been felt, and this is a really solid investment for us to just put a large bet down on the future of Manitoba.
Do you expect the feds to eventually come to the table?
Yeah, I think they will. You know, they just were sworn in this week, right? So we'll give them time to get up to speed. We wrote to the Prime Minister, and this was one of the things that we identified as being a priority. And now we're taking it to that next step and saying we're putting provincial money behind this important investment.
How hopeful are you to kind of see a deal forward, given they've been fundraising for this for 7 years now?
Yeah, I think that's why the province is making this move now. This has been talked about for a long time. The private sector, particularly in this part of the province, has been putting their money on the table. And so now we're saying, all right, we're going to put the $60 million from the province, but we're also going to put a $60 million loan in the hopes that the feds will join us with this investment.
How is this going to help other, like the city itself, but also the entire area in Westman?
Yeah, this is going to be a big boost for the local economy, and coming at a time where people are so worried about tariffs, both the tariffs from China, but also potentially from the Trump administration. It's a good news story for our economy in the Westman region. When you look at the fact that Assiniboine College say they're ready to go to tender in the next few weeks, that means we can start building right away. And it's 1,000 jobs that are being spoken about, not to mention all the additional workers that are going to be able to come out of this new facility once it's fully up and running.
Do you think this will help guarantee that it breaks ground in 2027?
Well, I hope we can have a sod turning and most importantly a ribbon cutting as soon as possible.
Recording in progress.
Anything else in the room?
I think you know anything else about the innovation?
None about this.
I want to confirm too, is there a state of emergency now when it comes to White Shell? Is that official?
Yes. Yeah.
Is there, I know you spoke to it a bit this morning, but is there anyone coming to Westman from either Eastern Manitoba or Northern Manitoba that are evacuees?
We can get you some specific details offline. Yeah.
Okay. What about, do you know of any firefighters that are helping join the fight?
Yeah, I think there are from across the province, but again, we can get you some specific details. Yeah.
Are you?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Are you headed to West Bonnie then?
I am. Yeah. We're gonna go visit some of the firefighters and just try to thank them for the great job that they've done, and maybe just some encouragement to help keep morale up, and then of course try to check in on some of the folks who've been impacted in the area.
How is the announcement yesterday with Ontario going to impact Westman businesses, or impact or benefit Westman businesses?
Well, I think there's a lot of ways that we'll see the benefit. You know, Manitoba has already done a lot of that hard work to open up our economy to trade with other provinces, but now we're getting access to the biggest market in the country. That's huge. So whether you're in manufacturing or you're in ag or transportation, being located in Brandon or in the Westman, being able to access Ontario's market, 16 million people, billions and billions of dollars, that's a big opportunity. So taking those barriers down to be able to do business between Manitoba and Ontario, I think is huge.
What about specifically for the agriculture industry? That's important here in Westman.
Yeah, it sure is. And basically what we're saying with this deal, which also allows us to now talk about Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. So it's really a lot of eastern markets that we're being able to get access to here in Canada. We're saying basically, you know what, if they're doing inspections, health and safety rules in other parts of the country, we're going to trust that the Ontario government is going to have that same concern for health and safety as we would, right? And so we'll just have that mutual recognition in place. So whether it's an agricultural good or any good or service, it's going to be able to move across borders that much more quickly and with less friction. That means more economic development, more money going into people's pockets.
Is there any timeline yet on the by-election in Spruce Woods?
No, not right now.
Why?
I think everyone's feeling pretty electioned out right now, so. Yeah. Okay, we can go to Zoom if there's anyone there.
Thank you, Premier. Yes, we have 2 reporters that are joining us on Zoom today. We'll follow our regular Zoom format of 1 question and 1 follow-up. And I'm going to start with Carol Sanders from the Free Press.
Hi, Premier. On your way out to Brandon today, you would have driven by the intersection of Highway 5 there, where the 17 seniors were tragically killed. I'm just wondering, have you heard from the Carberry mayor and folks in that area who say they're worried that the province is leaning strongly towards an R-cut at that intersection, and they're concerned about traffic being backed up, farm equipment come harvest time, when they go to the intersection to make an R-cut turn, it's going to make it more dangerous. What's your message to concerned residents?
Well, I think those are the perspectives that we want to hear through the consultation process that the government has been undertaking. It's a huge safety issue that needs to get addressed, and the response from the first responders in Carberry was very, very strong and very moving, and you know, it calls on us to make sure that we get this right. So that's why we're talking to people in the area.
And just a follow-up on another subject is just the issue of property taxes and school taxes, and with this being an assessment year and school taxes rising like in double digits in some cases, and it's businesses are getting kind of a surprise and unexpected surprise. They thought maybe their residential property taxes would go down, so they were okay with the change in the rebate, losing the 10% commercial break. I'm just wondering, what's your message to businesses and homeowners about their property taxes bills this year? It's not what a lot of people were expecting. Do you have any concerns? Is there any relief coming for businesses? You know, the economic cart pulls the social horse. What can you say about that?
Yeah, the economic horse pulls the social cart, and that's why we've done a lot like cutting the payroll tax and bringing in a security rebate program for business. And when we look at that homeowners affordability tax credit, that's $1,500, which really, really helps to ensure that people who need the most help, when you're talking about homeowners, maybe smaller homes, people in rural communities, a lot of those folks aren't going to be paying any education taxes at all. And for everyone across the province who's thinking about affordability, that $1,500 tax credit's going up to $1,600 next year.
Okay, our final reporter on Zoom with us today is Miranda Leyburn from The Cooperator.
Hi, thank you for taking my questions. And if they've been asked before, I apologize. The audio was a little bit wonky for a while. But my main question is, how do you see the Prairie Innovation Center contributing to Manitoba's resilience against external trade pressures like tariffs?
That's part of what makes this investment so timely, is we need to double down on the ag sector. We need to invest in building the future of our ag economy. And there's 2 major things that we've been hearing about that are needed. One is on the labor side, and then the other is about diversifying our export markets. So this Prairie Innovation Center really is about addressing the labor issues in ag. We're going to create about 1,000 jobs in the process of building this thing, and then from there, Assiniboine College is going to be able to more than double the amount of grads that they're producing, who then can go to work in the ag industry. So this is a timely investment. The private sector was already there for many years, as you well know. They were making their investments and putting their money on the table, saying the Prairie Innovation Center is a good idea. And for us, we've been, working that through the government process, and maybe the tariff threat just helped to get us to get those resources out the door a little bit more quickly. Then when we look at diversification, we've got the GATE project there with Cereals Canada. So 2 big investments in the ag industry, but certainly moving in the right direction to support producers and exporters as well.
Thank you so much. I don't have any other questions.
Okay, great.
That's
Well, thanks
all from
so
Zoom
much.
then. Thank you.
So is that good for everybody? All right.
I do have one more question.
Sure, yeah.
I was looking at hospital times and openings in the region, and there was one hospital, I believe it was Carberry, it's closed 5 of 7 days this week. So how is healthcare getting better right now, especially in rural hospitals?
Well, the Carberry emergency room was closed before we took office, like 100% of the time, and now it's open. So that's pretty clear progress. Again, we're gonna have to keep staffing up, and we've added about 1,500 more staff to the front lines. Carberry in particular, we can highlight the local leadership, we can highlight folks in Prairie Mountain, and then of course our government was happy to work together with them to make sure that we're bringing the staff necessary to open that facility. And we're going to keep working together with them, with Melita, where we've added new staff resources, and really throughout rural Manitoba so people get the health care they need. Yeah. Okay, great. All right. Which way are we making our exit? Same way? Not going to go that way?